And we're live. So we're here today talking with Matt Leppard from Conpoto, which is a new sponsor for the Michigan Association of Chamber Professionals. And Conpoto works with lots of chambers across the state, actually the country at this point, working on community currency and ways to increase member engagement, help support buy local campaigns, and create some non-dues revenue opportunities for local chambers. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Matt, who's going to talk a little bit more about the technical aspects of the program and how that might work for your chamber. So Matt?
Thank you, appreciate it. Let me put my screen share on so that everyone can follow along here with me. And we'll see, Bob, I want to make sure with you, at least if that works, you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, Bob?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Perfect. So what we'll do is I'll take you through a bit of an overview of our program, the technology that we offer chambers and other organizations, and then jump into the actual technology a little bit, just so you can see a small little glimpse into it, and then we can wrap it up with questions if there are any at the end. So Conpoto offers a private labeled community currency platform, which is a cloud-based software that is used in main streets and communities, chambers of commerce, of course, around the country, and is used largely as a tool to promote local buying, local shopping, but also is connecting large employers that buy lots of dollars worth of gifts for employees and clients with those Main Street merchants. And before I jump into the overview of the technology, it's important to set a little bit of a background on this. So Conpoto works in this space that is similar to the space of other large national brand gift card aggregators. So if you've been into a Walgreens or a CVS pharmacy, you've certainly seen the kiosk of gift cards at the end of the aisle. And that is those gift cards are provided by a third-party company. There's a couple large ones around the country, but for every brand that is on that gift card kiosk, they also offer, these third-party companies offer digital electronic gift cards as well. So when you go to Best Buy and you buy a gift card from Best Buy, you're actually not buying it from them, you're buying it from Incom Blackhawk Network. And those third-party aggregators are given a percentage of those gift card purchases to be sold on their platform. So there's a huge amount of money spent with these local, or with these large national brands in the employee recognition space in particular, because they're very, very easy to get. They're everywhere, and they're online, so they can be delivered in real time. So what Conpoto sets out to do is give tools to communities, chambers of commerce specifically, to help shift some of the money that is being spent at those big box brands away from them to the local merchant. And this is a technology that the local merchants couldn't afford on their own. And so by virtue of being part of your organization or other organizations that look out for them and bring them tools, this allows them to aggregate local community gift certificates, all online, all being able to be purchased electronically, and then ensuring that the money is kept locally. So we're going to pick on a small little town in southeast Michigan called Fenton. They have a city population of about 11,000 people, and obviously the surrounding area is a bit bigger than that. But if you look at the 3 zip codes that make up the population around the Fenton area and where the Chamber of Commerce resides, and that's the first one, you'll see the aggregate payroll. This is from 2012 business census data. And what we know about employee recognition, and it's a national statistic, is somewhere between 1% and 3% is spent on employee recognition, 1% and 3% of payroll. So you can see how big of a number that becomes in a community, even a small community like Fenton. So one of the ways we support this then is by giving communities a currency platform. So we give you the technology to sell a local certificate from your website, You can select the denominations that you'd like to sell, and a single certificate is good at a wide range of local merchants that are almost always your members, or you can invite others to be part of the platform as well. That certificate comes electronically, and it's in the form of a PDF, and this is important for two reasons. Its PDF allows us to send it electronically, as I mentioned, but also lets the buyer print the certificate out and hand deliver it. So this is important in the employee recognition space, when oftentimes they like to give recognition to an employee for a job well done, but hand them something in a pat on the back as opposed to a little more sterile distribution channel like email. So this is the actual example of a certificate. The top left version of this page represents the certificate itself. The right page represents a list of all the participating merchants. And then again, on the bottom of the left page, there is an opportunity to earn some non-dues revenue for either merchants that would like to pay to be advertised on this platform you're offering, or larger local champions like credit unions and banks or realtors and insurance companies that want to show their support for the local community. So the way it works is really quite simple. We help you deploy the technology to your website. As soon as that's up and deployed on your website, the certificates can be purchased. Those can be purchased in real time, any 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From your website, the certificate's delivered to the recipient. The money is sent to your bank. So this is a key point, and I want to emphasize that when the certificate is purchased, the funds flow directly from the credit card to your bank. Your bank is actually tied directly with this technology, so that when the purchase happens, the money always stays local. You have full control over it. Certificate then, the recipient selects the merchant they'd like to use the certificate at, and this merchant validates it with some very easy technology that we provide them, and then the reimbursement is made. The system queues up the reimbursements that need to be made, and those are made on a periodic basis out to the merchants. Some neat side benefits that come from this program, when merchants are getting checks from chambers of commerce with the chamber's name on it, it's very difficult for them to challenge what kind of value they get out of a chamber, especially when they get a check every 2 weeks from the chamber. And of course, as all this happens in real time, every aspect of this transaction is a data point, and it's a data point that's valuable to you and your community, and that all flows back up to you. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. We spent a great deal of time making sure this is a very much a turnkey situation or solution for you. We help you install the technology. The technology is actually quite automated, so it will invite the merchants that you want to be part of this platform through the system, and the merchants then will follow 2 or 3 steps and automatically sign up for this technology. And of course, we help you through this platform. And then if you're a client of ours, we will we'll provide you 2 pieces of marketing content, what we call white label marketing content, a month. So you'll have things that talk about the importance of buying local, the importance of employee recognition, and any seasonal things that may happen, Christmas, the holidays, all sorts of things. We give that content to you so that you can put your name and your logo on it to share with the community at large. So you don't have to come up with content to help drive your program each month. This is probably one of the most exciting pieces of the platform, and that is the intelligence that goes along with it. So at any given time, you can see who's buying the currency, you can see whose pocket it's in, who's holding it, certainly which merchants have gotten the biggest benefit out of the program, and a real powerful tool is how much currency is actually out in float in your particular organization. So if you look at this snapshot of data, you can see, and this is just a dashboard, you can see how much has been issued, how much has been redeemed, and how much is in circulation. That $11,280 is actually in the chamber's bank account, waiting to be used at local merchants, cannot be used anywhere else. So it truly is a local tool where the money's staying in town, the data is all yours, and the money's in your account until it's used at a local merchant. And we provide the same level of analytics on a mobile platform as well. So if you have ambassadors that are out on the street on your behalf, a great tool for them to walk around with as well. The program cost structure, there's two key components to this. There's a one-time cost of implementation, and that it can be dependent on the size of the chamber, that we will help you with full launch, as many merchants as you'd like to get on board, and an opportunity to cover that, that implementation cost by an underwriter or selling 3 ad spaces. And then there is a program cost, an ongoing program cost, that is determined typically either by a percentage of currency or a fixed amount, depending on whether you have a program already or you don't, and the size of your chamber. And then we do offer additional membership spaces, as I pointed out before, that allow you to resell these at whatever market price your community will bear. There are four primary, I'll say, non-dues revenue options that chambers are deploying to make this community currency platform a profit center for them. The first two are most common. They're reimbursing merchants a percentage of face value, or and that percentage is controlled by the chamber. So let's say you want to reimburse a merchant 90 cents on the dollar. You can use that to cover some of the program costs and make a little money yourself. Certainly, there are a lot of folks that are using it for underwriters and sponsorships, as we've discussed before. You can also charge a convenience fee on the front end. So if you've ever used StubHub or avenues like that, you've certainly seen percent convenience fees or service fees on those purchases you've made. And certainly the same thing can be done here if you elect to. And then you can charge a merchant participation fee. You can charge a fee for members, a different fee for non-members. You can charge no fee, and you can do anything in between. So what we really are trying to do, and after this, I'll show you the technology briefly, but we are trying to help you guys with a tool, provide chambers and other communities with a tool that is showing very tangible member value, that both for employers to make it easy for them to buy local, and for merchants, certainly where you're driving large dollars to their doorstep, but then giving you guys a powerful tool to analyze your impact in the community. And as part of that, we obviously want to make sure there's some revenue opportunities, and that in the long term, as this money continues to aggregate up, certainly there are always certificates that go unused, and if you recall, the money's in your account, so that is some long-term value that you can pull out of this system into the future as well. So I'm gonna shift over real quickly to just to show you from a web standpoint how this works. You go to the home page, and you see here on the continue with West Coast Cash or Michigan West Coast Chamber. You put a button. We help you put a button on the home page of your website that drives you to the actual purchase portal. And then in this purchase portal, you'll see this area in this box here is the content we provide, and this is completely configurable. The Michigan Chamber of Commerce the West Coast Chamber of Commerce has elected to keep this black and white and gray, but you can adjust the size, the font, the color, all sorts of things. But this allows you to view the number of merchants that participate in the program. And of course, there's a huge selection of options here that allow you that you can choose from as a consumer. You can email the certificate to yourself and print it off to hand deliver it, or email to someone else with a custom message. And then, of course, you fill out the platform and you send a certificate. When you send that certificate, it shows up in an email that looks like this. So it's, again, got your brand on it. And it says, "Welcome to West Coast Cash." If there were a particular message, "Happy Birthday, Merry Christmas," that would be located here. And then you open the certificate, the PDF, and you can see that the actual certificate is here. So this represents the advertisers, all with linkable advertisements, some instructions you may have for your community, and the actual certificate itself, with the second page list of merchants on this page. One important thing to point out is when you're looking at a selection of merchants that you want to be part of this platform, certainly restaurants and retail is great, but it's important to remember services and other aspects of kind of everyday expenses are important to have on here as well. It becomes quite a valuable employee recognition tool in that sense, because then they can give one certificate that works for a nice dinner out and works for a tank of gas in your car or an oil change. And that's something that a gift card to Amazon can't deliver. They can certainly deliver product, but they can't deliver an oil change to the local oil, or a car wash to your local car wash. And then lastly, I just want to take a minute and show you what the system looks like as you were to log in as a chamber. So this represents a real-time snapshot of the Michigan West Coast Chamber of Commerce over the last year. So, this is a year to date. These numbers up here, of course, are aggregated, but this information is year to date. So you can see how much currency has been issued, redeemed, in circulation in your community. It aggregates the payments you owe that are owed to the merchant base, and then you can customize everything else in here. You manage the merchants from this platform, so if one becomes a chamber member, you can turn them on and give them access to this in circulation amount immediately. Flip side, if there's a merchant that's giving you problems, you can flip them off immediately and their technology no longer works. From a payment processing side, this is part of the setup that we help provide for you. We can build a template that talks right to QuickBooks or Peachtree, whatever financial information or financial platform you use, or even to your online bill pay, whereby as certificates are scanned or entered, they're validated. You can record payments here in aggregate, and then export a file out of our system. Download a file, export it directly into your financial system, and process payments just as you would any other payment processing. And then you can view details, so you have full accountability into every penny that's been spent. You can go through this platform and you can pick one and say, okay, Crazy Horse Steakhouse was most recently, looks like yesterday, paid $92, and you can view these codes. And in this case, you can see the transparency into how much you spent, how much was paid at Crazy Horse Steakhouse, the value of the certificate, the payment date, the amount that they were reimbursed. And Crazy Horse Steakhouse has that level of visibility into their own organization as well. Not in aggregate, but in as well, or for their specific location. So that really is the high level version of what we're trying to do. And Bob, I'll kick it back to you to see if there's any other questions you have right out of the gate.
Yeah, some of the more common questions that we get include, what kind of equipment does a merchant need to have in order to participate with this program? Do they have to have credit card processing? Do they need a scanner? Can they just type in some codes in order to access a platform? How does that work on your end?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's really one way you need to redeem. There are no special equipment required. The way merchants redeem is virtually identical to the way Groupons are redeemed or airline tickets are redeemed. And that is that you're given a code, you're given a certificate. That certificate, every certificate has a unique code on it. And when you're presented that code, you either enter it online at a merchant portal that you've already logged into and bookmarked, or there's a free mobile app that allows you to scan the certificate, and it'll tell you in real time if it's a good code or a bad code. So if it's a good code, it flashes green, tells you it's a valid code, and you'll be getting your money. If for some reason it's bad, and we see very, very few of these, but it'll give you the information as a consumer, as a merchant, it'll give you the information as to why it is bad. So, for example, it may say this code was already, and you can see in this example, was already redeemed on April 8th at Mike's Oil Change. And so you must have forgotten you had used it before. It's no longer good. So you have that level of transparency as a merchant as well. But this is the way that hundreds and hundreds of our merchants are doing this, are doing the validation, and it really streamlines it, makes it very, very quick to do, and then they just enter it in their POS as a coupon or a discount that they're later reimbursed for.
And then how long does reimbursement take for the merchant? If a customer comes in and redeems one of their community cash certificates, how soon does the merchant get paid?
That is up to the Chamber of Commerce. I think all but one of the chambers working with this program are reimbursing at the same frequency they would pay any vendor. So it's either every other week or twice a month.
Great, but really
that is more than. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's flexible for the chamber and the merchant. That's an agreement they can come to.
That's right. Yep. We have not seen any chamber do more frequently than every 2 weeks, and we have one chamber that pays every month. So.
And then if the chamber is interested in getting started, how many merchants should they have already in the queue or recommended as a starter platform? So
yeah,
there's a critical mass of vendors that need to be on board so that customers have a choice of where to spend their money, right?
Yeah, well, you're right. And what's interesting is, if you start with this program and you have zero, we can certainly help you, and we have some strategies to do that. If you've already engaged, and what we see is the more successful chambers have already engaged a merchant base and actually already engaged an employer base, at least to have a dialogue around this before they've launched it, so that it hits the ground running. But the number of merchants is not as important as the selection or the types of merchants. And so what I would say is, if you're starting this program and you have no one in the queue, we would recommend that you have a conversation with 10 that you think are influential in your community. That if the local pub where everyone likes to go and everybody knows does this, then others will follow along as well. Because the way our technology works, when invitations go out, they say, you're invited to participate in this program. Here are all the people that are already, first invitation is nobody, but you're invited to participate. If they do nothing with that invitation, the next week it says, now there are 10 people that have elected to participate. You sure you don't want to participate? And it keeps priming them until they're ready to participate or they opt out. So we consider a best practice talking to a group of about 10 that other merchants in the community will follow, if that makes sense.
That's great. And then can the chamber sell these community certificates on their own, or do they have to have an employer base that's going to buy these and give them out as employee gifts?
Yeah, no, great question. They certainly don't have to do it on their, or they don't have to just have an employee base. They're sold on their website, so the general public can buy them as well. And then if you happen to have a lot of foot traffic, you're the type of chamber that has a lot of foot traffic and not a lot of web presence, you can certainly generate these certificates right from your office. And this is an example of that as well. So let's say someone comes in and wants to buy $100 worth. You can buy 4 of them. That's $100. You can enter some information if you'd like to track it. And then you enter a PIN to issue them certificates, $100 worth of certificates. You just have to remember to take the money from them.
So this is great. This is really scalable for any size chamber. If you're a small chamber, you can sell the certificates on your own and drive traffic to your merchants that are members. If you're a larger chamber, you can engage that employer base. They have another member benefit to belong that goes deeper into their employees, and then also supports your local merchants. But really, you can run the gamut anywhere in between.
That's right. We have the smallest chamber we have as 1.5 people, so as a full-time person and a half and a part-time employee. And in the first 2 weeks of deploying the technology, they had 39 merchants in the platform because they just leveraged the technology we have. And we have large chambers like the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. We have several other larger communities that are coming on the platform that have elected to take their large, giant community and break it down into neighborhoods. And so we're working through some of that with some groups right now that can still offer what I'll call a parent level certificate that works at a variety of different neighborhoods or branded neighborhoods within their community.
So on our showcase over here on the side of our Hangout, we've got the Conpoto website where they can get some more information. But if they wanted to engage, what's the best way to contact you to start to talk more about setting up their program? And we're coming up on the holiday season here, just a couple months. Is there a better time than another to get engaged?
Well, certainly the best, I can tell you employers really start thinking about their recognition programs in August and September, pretty early in the season. And that's their holiday spend. But as long as you're on this platform and have a good base of merchants and the community awareness before the big buying begins in mid-November, you're in good shape. And then obviously you can launch it at any given time, but that's when the majority of the spending happens in that fourth quarter. And then in regards to your other question, really our website, there's a variety of places to contact us through there. You can request info. You can, we have our phone numbers there, and you can also schedule a personal webinar and pepper me or my team with any questions you may have. So love to help.
Great. Well, thanks, Matt. I know MACP is really excited about partnering with Conpoto. You're a brand new service that lots of chambers can take advantage of, and the ones that are already engaged are enjoying some of the benefits. So we appreciate your support and helping make our communities support their merchants.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy.
Thanks.
Yeah.